It's the Friday wrap on WNIN FM. Good to have you along on this Friday. Well, joining me now is Jevin Redman with this week's Sports Chat. Jevin, good to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks, John.
All right, well, what a Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night. As I understand it, the Indiana Pacers were behind the entire game until the very last second, correct?
They had one lead, and it came with 0.3 of a second, thanks to a shot from Tyrese Halliburton. The Pacers win Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the road at the Oklahoma City Thunder, 111-110. And this is a bit of a unique NBA Finals because you have two small market teams going at it.
Right.
And the Pacers, their second trip ever to the Finals in their NBA history, the first since 2000. So you have really two franchises on a stage they're not used to playing on.
Right.
But the Pacers, this has not been unfamiliar territory for them in this playoffs. It's really been remarkable. They're almost a team of destiny. Quite a few comebacks really throughout now all four series. But, John, last night they trailed by 15 points early in the fourth quarter. We mentioned just one lead at the very end. But if you look at their whole playoff picture, here's a remarkable stat.
Yeah.
They've had 4 games in the fourth quarter where their winning percentage based off various factors was 4% or less. They won all 4 of those games.
Wow.
The odds of that happening, 1 in 1.5 million. So maybe it is a team of destiny. The Pacers 3 wins away from the first ever NBA championship. Game 2 is on Sunday night at Oklahoma City at 7 o'clock.
Yes, indeed. We will certainly be following that series. Well, as I understand it, Jevin, you have news on high school baseball and softball. There's still action going on.
Yeah,
right?
and still a busy time really for the Tri-State. Quite a few teams playing still in the postseason. We'll start with high school baseball and kind of work our way down. But in Class 4A, Evansville North will play the regional game tomorrow against Seymour. It's at Bosse Field. 12 noon is the first pitch. North won their first sectional since 2013 last weekend. In Class 3A, you have Evansville Central taking on Jasper. That game is at Jasper at 10 a.m. tomorrow. For Evansville Central, it's their first sectional championship since 2017, and they're really an underdog. They're just 10-17 on the season. They upset Memorial last week in the championship. The Tigers were 19-4, so Evansville Central writing a bit of a Cinderella story. And then in Class 2A, you have Evansville Mater Dei playing Bar Eve at 10 a.m. That is the first game of the day at Bosse Field tomorrow. Mater Dei won their first sectional championship since 2014. So 3 Evansville schools that are playing the regional for the first time in several years. And John will finish up with high school softball semi-state. Evansville Memorial will play Charlestown tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's at Jasper High School. And then in Class 2A semi-state, Tecumseh, who's now won 4 straight regionals, they play Monrovia at 10 a.m. tomorrow at Forest Park. So a lot of baseball and softball to watch tomorrow.
No doubt. Also, still some college baseball to talk about, right?
Yeah, so Murray State baseball, they're playing in the Super Regional this weekend. They're at Duke. It's a best-of-3 series. Whoever wins that series goes to College World Series. And if you remember, last year Evansville was in that situation playing at Tennessee. It really is remarkable for mid-major schools to get to this point in the college baseball postseason and for the Missouri Valley Conference. Now, 3 straight years a team has made the Super Regional. Indiana State in 2023, Evansville last year, now Murray State. So the Racers having a great season. They'll take on Duke this week in a 3-game set.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned some high school baseball happening at Bosse Field tomorrow. We've also got the Otters in town, right?
Yeah, so the Otters have a 3-game series with the Washington Wild Things. They'll play at 6:35 tonight and tomorrow, and then 5:35 on Sunday. But the Otters, they're going for a 3rd straight win tonight. They've gotten off to a bit of a slow start, maybe starting to find their winning ways with a couple of wins here, but they're 10-13 overall. 3 games back of first place still early in the season, but the team they're chasing is the Wild Things, who they play this weekend at Bosse Field.
Yeah. Now, in Major League Baseball, we're beyond the Memorial Day weekend now. About that time of the season where you really start determining who might be winners, who might be losers, and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, probably still just a bit too early to start watching the standings, but a good point. I think this is kind of the timeline where you figure out whether you're going to be a contender or not. And the St. Louis Cardinals and Chicago Cubs right now in the top half of the National League Central standings. The Cubs 39-23. They have a 5-game lead on St. Louis. The Cubs play the Tigers this weekend in Detroit. Those two teams have the 2 best records in Major League Baseball. The Tigers are 41-23. But, I think for many Cardinal fans throughout the Tri-State, they have to be pleased with how their team is playing. This was somewhat of a rebuild year, but their young talent and pitching coming through right now. They're 34-28, just a half game out of a wild card spot behind the Giants. Again, still too early to talk standings and whatnot, but the Cardinals have been very competitive to this point.
Yes, indeed. Well, anything else to add, Jevin, that we haven't touched on here?
No, just quite a bit going on. Typically get in the summer months here in June and things start to slow down, but not really the case with the Pacers still playing. You've got a lot of high school baseball and softball postseason, mentioned college baseball with Murray State. So a lot going on and makes the summer months fun.
Yes, indeed. The Stanley Cup Finals continuing as well. That is Jevin Redman with WNIN's Sports Chat. As always, Jevin, thank you very much.
Sure thing. Thanks, John.